Hi YouTube and welcome back to my Let's Play World of Warcraft. Sorry I haven't posted anything in a while. I've been a combination of busy with work and also battling a really bad cold for several weeks now, so regardless, this is going to be a new series. I know I haven't finished the dungeon run one yet, but we have Warlords of Draenor out now. And as you can see here, I'm just kicking that off, and we are about to embark on the adventures of the Warlords of Draenor. Here we are in the Blasted Lands, and the Iron Horde has activated the portal and is pouring troops through to Azeroth from Draenor. And I believe, if I'm interpreting the storyline correctly, is that it's sort of a time shift portal. So we're actually, when we go through to Draenor and the Iron Horde and everything, this is all in the past. So this is Draenor before it becomes, let's see, it was Burning Crusade was the expansion pack and everything. So like the planet Draenor like got, you know, destroyed and everything, and for Burning Crusade you went into what was left of Draenor. And here we are in Draenor right now, but it's actually in the past. So the obviously the Dark Portal is here, but the planet hasn't been destroyed yet and everything. And things. I could be interpreting the story wrong. I didn't read into what the storyline is supposed to be, but I do know that we're in a different version of Draenor, and we are going to be facing up against some of the famous or infamous warlords of Draenor. We've got the orcs on one side, and those are the ones that we're gonna run into, and then we've got the Draenei on the other side as well, and they're kind of warlords, and also the humans. So because you kind of go back to the early stage of Warcraft, and it's all orcs and humans, and that's it, and then we kind of get all the other races kind of involved later on. So anyway, so we're at the Dark Portal, and we're trying to stop the troops, the Iron Horde troops, from getting through to Azeroth. And so the first thing we've got to do here is release these two people, monsters, creatures, whatever, one on each tower. That's like the first thing, and then there's another thing we'll have to do, and then basically what we're trying to do is just shut down the portal itself. To keep the Iron Horde from pouring through into Azeroth, because they were kind of mounting a staging ground and things. And that's one of the things we were doing just prior to the expansion going live, was just kind of facing off against the Iron Horde in the Blasted Lands and trying to defeat their forces. For the ones that were in Azeroth. And now at this point we're at a point where we're like, okay, we can't just keep fighting, and they keep coming through the portal. We need to go through the portal and stop them from where they're coming from. So that's the basic premise of what's going on here. Okay, so I did that. I shut down the two towers and things. And I know people are probably like, why aren't you just going on a mount and you can go faster? And I tend to forget using my mounts when I'm questing and stuff. I mean, if I'm running, you know, a significantly long distance, I'll get my mount out and things. And I don't think I can fly here anyway. But oh yeah, here I was thinking about, yeah, maybe I should bring out a mount, because the flying mounts aren't gonna work. And I like my black war raptor for running around. So I thought I would bring that beauty out for things. Alright, so you can see here we've got Thrall. He's obviously getting into the fight and helping us with all of this nastiness. So he's still not the war chief anymore. I mean, Vol'jin, I think, is the current war chief now. But we won't get to see much of him because he's back in Azeroth. Alright, so here's the first one, Gul'dan. and he's kind of helping keep the portal open with these different power stone things. So I've got to destroy them to destroy his power, and that way we can at least turn the portal off and stem the tide of the Iron Horde from coming through and things. But then we're gonna, because we shut down the portal, we're kind of stuck here. So now that we're, you know, then when we're stuck here, it's like, oh yeah, and here I'm like, I couldn't figure out exactly what I was missing at first. I was like, there's 2 stones, and I realized, oh wait, there's another one back there. Whoopsie. I got to quest all the way up until, so far I've played up until the establishment of my garrison. And that's as far as I've gotten so far, just because I just haven't had a lot of time. And that took me about an hour of gameplay, and I've decided, obviously I'm not going to post an entire hour. People are just not going to watch that. So, okay, here we go. We just finally turned off the power for the portal, so now the portal is shut down, and it's just a big old stone gate thing, and that's about it. Alright, so he escapes. That's the first of the Warlords of Draenor that we encounter in this sort of opening volley of things. And so now we get to go on to the kind of the next stage of this thing. You kind of like the initial part here is you're basically running and constantly up until you get to the point where you have a garrison, and then you can kind of like calm things down and kind of go do things at a more leisurely pace if you feel like it. But initially it's like you run and things. So I kind of captured all of that, although I am breaking that up into several episodes just because there's just not enough time to just kind of do, such a long episode. People just don't watch videos that long anyway. So, alright, so here's our second little staging area here. We're all going into this building. We won't be here long. We're not long in any one single place. Here we've got our next... oh yes, and then here I kind of open my bags and I kind of look at, see, did I get any interesting loot? And here's the new organization system that you can set up with the bags, which is kind of cool. So you can set like, oh, this bag is for consumables, this bag is for equipment, this bag is for trade items. And then you just hit the one button and boom, it just automatically organizes your bags for you. So you don't have to constantly sift through your bags looking for stuff anymore. So that's really nice. I like that. I do wish there would be a separate bag for quest items as well. To be perfectly honest, some games like Ion have introduced that concept now, where you have a completely separate inventory for quest items, and it doesn't impact your standard inventory and things. And generally the quest items kind of cycle in and out, relatively quickly, so you don't have to worry about it, but it doesn't take room up in your main inventory. So I like that. I think that should be a thing. People at Blizzard, if you're listening to this, make it happen. Oh yes, and I'm just kind of looking at some of my stats and things too. I mean, they've done one of the things they've done. If you haven't seen Warlords of Draenor yet, and you haven't seen videos or people talking about it, and you're familiar with the old system of stats and everything, you'll notice that those stats look a lot lower than they should for level 90. That's because they squished all the stats, is what they called it. They just kind of reduced everything. I mean, they reduced everything proportionally, so obviously all of the NPCs and everyone's stats got squished. And of course, stats have gotten rearranged and things, and I still have my rotation at the moment set based off of all the skills and everything from before the expansion. I haven't rearranged it, and I'm noticing. I was noticing as I was playing that the cooldowns and stuff weren't quite working the same as they used to, and so at some point I need to do some research and kind of rearrange my rotation. so that I can optimize on my cooldowns and things. And at the moment, they're not the best. I mean, they weren't necessarily the ideal rotation when even beforehand, but now they're like way off. So, all right. So right now the quest we've got is, well, we've got to take out a bunch of the Iron Horde folks. We've got to release the prisoners that they've captured, and we got to burn down their huts. So kind of nip these guys in the bud, so to speak, before moving on to the next questing area. And it's kind of nice because it's not like an endless grind if you have to go out and kill 40 boars and things like that. I mean, it's real quick. We got to kill about 6 or 8 bleeding hollow orcs and things. Burn a bunch of buildings and release 2 prisoners from 2 different cages, and that's it. And then we move on, and then there'll be the next round of things that we've got to do. And you'll see as we go through this that they're like, they're different and interesting and stuff. One of the biggest complaints people have had with World of Warcraft is the endless grinding of like, go out and kill 100 of this, go out and kill, blah 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 blah. So now if you're having to kill any significant number of anything, so generally you end up getting an ability, like you're shooting a cannon or something, and you can kill like large groups of, because sometimes you'll have one of these where you have to kill 100 or 500 folks, but then you get control of a cannon or something, and you can kill like 20 at a time, which is kind of nice. But I've noticed that I think the majority of like any kind of grinding kill quests, I think they're keeping them to 10 or less these days, at least from what I've seen. I could be wrong, and we'll see over time, but it's generally not like 20 or 30 or 40 or 50 anymore like it used to be, where it was just like this endless grinded stuff, and you get to move on and do other quests. And very often they're really good at grouping quests together as well, so that you're actually gonna be able to accomplish several quests at the same time. So you don't just do the one grind and then you have to turn it in and then go do something else. You end up with 2 or 3 quests that are all at the same time. And so you're killing 5 of these things, but then you're also picking up, some kind of drop item that you need to grab and that kind of thing, or burning buildings like this one. So I think that there's a lot of stuff that they've listened to the fans on, and like fans are complained about a lot of things, and I think they've listened and they've made improvements. I don't know if you've noticed, I don't really zoom in on faces and stuff, but they remodeled all of the characters as well, so that there's a lot more detail to the characters and things. And you can actually find the remodeled characters online. They've got the comparisons and things. You can really notice it when you look up close. From a distance, you don't see it as much, but it does make a difference. I think overall they remodeled and redid a lot of the graphics in the game, and I think they did a really good job with it. And the one thing that I'm really looking forward to is the garrisons. You'll see that in a couple of episodes from now. You'll see me establishing the garrison, but then over time you get to upgrade it and add buildings, and there's just so much cool stuff you can do with just the garrisons alone. So I'm really looking forward to that, and I hope that with future expansions that they continue to add things like that to the game, because I think it just makes it a little bit more interesting. Okay, so we finished with the last staging area, and we're in a new staging area now. Now we've got to come down to this creepy temple thing and kill these Eye of Kilrog orbs. So there's the Eye of Kilrog just kind of hovering, and things, and we've got to kind of kill some of these cultists here. So they're using these orbs to artificially enhance some of their orcs and stuff. And make them like bigger and more badass. And so what we're doing now is we're just trying to stop them It's the two of them, and you'll see that there's a third stream coming down, and it's coming from the top of this kind of temple thing, and so we've got to go up there to get rid of that orb. So let's go do that, and then we're going to be pretty close to wrapping up this particular episode, and I'll continue this. I'm not going to be posting on any kind of regular schedule right now, but I will get the next video up as soon as I possibly can. That's the best I can promise. Now that could be tomorrow, that could be next week, that could be next month, and if it is, I apologize. Oh yeah, and here, one more zoom in for the here's Kilrog as one of the other warlords that we encounter. Alright, but I hope that you guys will enjoy this. I'm gonna try and do an episode, you know, I'm just gonna try and record all of my gameplay up to level 100, and you guys can come along with me for the ride. And I hope you enjoy it. And if you do, share it, please. Like it. And if you haven't subscribed to my channel, please subscribe. I know I don't post as much as I used to, but I will try to keep posting more often. And until the next time, please take care. Bye-bye.